I have a quote that I made up, which incidentally I can't, which I can't seem to remember right now, which is amazing. It's travel the world, experience the culture, feed the curiosity, enrich your soul, and tell the story. And I always focused on telling the story. So it's funny how I made that quote up, but I can't quote it to you right now.
I love the experience.
I'm Bejal, or B, as most people call me, and I'm a content creator at Be-lavie. I live in Leicester, which is a kind of a small city in the middle of England. And I'm actually, by training, I'm a ex-microbiologist, but I worked maybe like 20 plus years in clinical research. But these days I do focus a lot on Be-lavie.
Yeah. What sparked this bag of traveling in you, and when did this start? What does travel mean to you, like overall?
So traveling for me means not just going to a place and seeing all the sights and all, you know, the touristy spots, which I also incidentally like to do, the popular spots. But to me, travel has always been about the people, the community, different communities around the world. I'm very interested in people. So I love like different cultures, different cuisines, how they live, just heritage, also the history of places. And I love finding like quieter, because when I was a lot younger, like maybe in my 20s, I used to love like traveling, maybe not as slowly as I do now. I'd like rush around and go, lots of places, like say if I was going to a country, I'd go to lots of cities. But these days, I very much focus on slow travel. And so I like to see things slowly. I like to go to places which have heart and meaning and community. So that's basically what I focus on my travels. And I guess my inspiration for traveling started all the way back when I was 15, and I read a book by the autobiography of Anita Roddick, who's the founder of The Body Shop. And she used to write about, so obviously I used to love her products that she had. Like I used to, get the creams and the lip balms and things. And she used to sort of source a lot of her products from abroad, like different countries and in South America, but basically all around the world. And I started to read her autobiography, and it started to really inspire me and learn about how actually tourism and people going to these countries helps these communities out. And so this is how I basically got into travel, is that when I obviously became and had some money, I was very much like, yes, I want to go to these places, I want to see what they're like, but I actually want to do it in a way where it's beneficial to the place. I don't want to just, go there and like be not disrespectful, but I want to do it with purpose. I want to travel with purpose and find out what these communities do. And that's how I got really interested in my whole thing about, my whole ethos about not just visiting, but doing things for a reason, like think about like why I'm going there and just delve a bit deeper. So I guess that's how I started off. But I guess with my job, I used to be very lucky because we had a lot of international conferences. So I could also travel, but I'd extend the trip so I could go and, see the things that I was really passionate about, I guess. So that's me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I didn't know. And you started like very young, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I didn't travel when I was like 15. It was more like when as like youngsters, our parents obviously didn't have so much money to travel. But what we used to do was we used to travel a lot to Devon, which is like southwest England, and my grandparents lived there. Mm-hmm. So we went to the beach every day and stuff, and it was really, really fun for my brother and I. But as I got older, my passion for wanting to leave the UK and travel around and see just grew and grew and grew. And then after university, I had some free time, so that's when I started and haven't stopped since, I guess.
Beautiful. I can relate. Like I think that also when I was young, like as a kid, I already dreamed about traveling, but also didn't have like how to, not the resources, or but I think that something inside me has always been curious as well about what else is out there, like discovering curiosity, right? About curiosity
Yeah,
to
yeah, it's a
learn.
curiosity, isn't it? That's a really good word. It's like, I think we should always be curious in life, always. Travel for me is about learning as well, education. So I wanted to come back and sort of tell stories, and these are things that I want to like try and implement. Things like things that learnings that I've had in my travels. I'm like always, oh, could I do that at home, or what could I do better at home? So I guess through the purpose of why am I going, I kind of realized that why am I rushing around? Like, why do I need to see 100 places in this one like city? That it's number one, I'm not even interested in seeing that place. I'm just doing it because it's like a popular thing to do. So then I really started to focus on the things that I wanted to know about, and they were often quite different. Like, I'd want to go and do like a homestay, or I'd want to go and do maybe go on an activity which was very much focusing on the community aspects, and like, for example, I go on like numerous artisan tours because I love like crafts and things like that. I'm quite interested in the heritage, like UNESCO sites and things like that. So yeah, I really like to make connections with like locals. So I guess I think all my 20s was about rushing around. Then in my 30s, in my 60s and 40s, which is now.
To describe your travel style today?
I'd say that it's very slow, and it's more, I think about things a lot more, and I guess I look for those pockets of like differences and see how I can learn from other people and their sort of way of life. And also very much like the history of before, when I used to travel, I didn't necessarily know much about the country. I just kind of maybe went there because someone told me it was a cool country to go to. Whereas now I very much choose like why I want to go to a certain place. And I think for me, the quieter and the sort of like, if I find somewhere that's very undiscovered, it automatically starts to appeal to me. So yeah, I ask myself now, do I know much about that place or do I not? And if I don't, I'm kind of like, yeah, I need to go. So in December, I went to Tunisia, and I only knew it as a place where some of my friends had been years ago and had gone more for a beach holiday because, they have stunning beaches. But I didn't know anything else about it. I didn't know the heritage. I just didn't know. I knew some of the food because one of our friends has got a Tunisian cafe, or North African cafe, in Leicester. But apart from that, I literally knew nothing about it. So it was just so fascinating. It was like a very memorable trip, and it is about making memories, isn't it? So yeah.
Like and definitely Tunisia is on my list now because I've seen your reels and the posts that you've shared and all the things that you share, and I'm really curious about Tunisia now. Yeah.
So it's now on your list that you'd like to go visit. I'm glad.
You inspire me. So if we talk about sustainable travel or responsible travel, and there are lots of concepts right now about traveling. Which is one term or concept that you may say, like, start from here, and how would you describe it in an easy way?
Okay, so that's a really good question because actually somebody asked me this the other day, the difference between sustainable travel and responsible travel. Sometimes people think they're the same thing, but there is a bit of a difference in both. So I would just, like, if I was simplifying it, because obviously there's probably a lot of depth, I would simplify it as saying that sustainable travel is it takes more of a broader approach, so like a long-term approach in tourism. So like tourism development. So like you're focusing on sort of like preserving the environment for future generations, and you're ensuring that the economic benefits from the tourism is going through to local communities. Whereas you see, that's like a very broad approach. But when you're talking about responsible travel, that's more based on individual choices. Like, so, for example, you opting to go to, it's more of an individual choice. That's it. So you're kind of like opting to support and place monetary impact on your own, ethically choosing where to stay, consciously choosing where to eat, local restaurants, choosing to work with local guides. So I always say responsible is more like what you're going to implement.
I like it. Okay, yes. I never thought about it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
That's okay.
So we have been talking that you are very passionate about traveling, but you also love to explore your city that I need help to pronounce, Leicester.
Leicester. Yeah, nearly, you got it. Leicester.
Leicester. And it's also a very, very, very beautiful place, because I've also been seeing your Instagram account and the things that you post. And I don't know, like, I would love to learn more about your city and the most beautiful places that we should visit there, maybe.
Oh yeah, sure. So Leicester, I'm going to say very, very underrated. It's, I guess when a lot of people come to the UK, they focus on the capital, London. But Leicester is very underrated, has lots going on. I'm actually going to have more content coming out on this very soon. So direct you to my Instagram, which is, I'm sure you're so it's BE_LAVIE. But so when it comes to traveling, again, this is back to mindset. So I used to think that we have to, staying in your own city and doing things in your own city is not travel. But these days, my impression of that has completely changed. So I actually love nothing more than staying in Leicester, doing all the cool stuff that we have on offer here. So Leicester, very multicultural place, lots of small businesses that I love to support, loads of boutique hotels, which sometimes I have like a little staycation in overnight. Just
That's beautiful. Yeah,
really nice. We have country parks. We have like Bradgate Park. We have the National Forest. We have incredible cuisine. We have so many cultures. It's a melting pot of cultures. It's so fascinating. Like, so many festivals the city celebrates all together. So it's a great place for sport. We have basketball. We have football. We have cricket. We have rugby. It's just, and it's just a really sort of like community feel. And there's nothing I love more, like on the weekends, to just go around, see. We also have an international street art festival, so I love going and seeing the street art. Even though I've seen it 100 times, I like to go and see it in different perspectives. I love going to coffee shops are my thing. I love going to a coffee shop, relaxing, reading my book, sipping on a coffee. I love just walking around. I like shopping in local shops. So my late father was also had a small business. So he's the one who sort of got me into, supporting each other, supporting local shops, because, if you don't support these local shops, then these big, ginormous ones are just going to eat them up. So, and also you get free service when you go to them. The small little places that specialize in individual things. And why not keep the money in our, keep it all there, like keep in the community kind of thing, as it were. So that's the kind of thing I like doing. It's very, very sort of chilled. I just like, doing very calm things. And on the weekends, I love going on walks. So I go to some villages, which is what I try and feature on Instagram. I go off to the villages, sometimes drive, take the train to like a little village, walk around, see what they've got, support anything that they've got going on, because sometimes they have little fairs where they maybe selling made things and things like that. So I very much think it's important that you should explore your like hometown or wherever you live and support them as well. As it's very important to support local at home as well as supporting when you are going away on travels, right?
I agree. Yes. Yes, I agree. And to me, like local businesses have like a special magic that big companies or big places don't have. They have like a special.
Yeah, that's right. They have that sort of unique personal service, and it's like you know them. Like whenever they kind of talk and deal with you, you feel like you've got some sort of personal connection with them, rather than when you get the blanket service that you get in a big big like organization shops and things.
Yeah.
So
there's a different effort and passion also, right?
Absolutely. I guess when you have a small business, then like, I guess it's same with me for Be-lavie. I guess people have that real passion about it. That's obviously why they did it, and it's their baby, isn't it? So you just can't do that, can you? You can't.
Yes, and you're inspiring me. Like I really don't, when I'm like in my city, I stop visiting places. Like I don't know why. Like, but you are so right. Like you still can just find a lot of, and these are cities like are very interesting also. I think that every city is interesting, right? It has like a lot of hidden gems. I'm going to cut.
I agree with you. I think if you delve deep enough and you really look at what you've got on your doorstep, it's very unique, isn't it? Like you would only know about a lot of the things because you live there and it's your city. You've maybe say Leicester. I'm Leicester born and bred. I was born here. I grew up here. I went I went 6 years away to university and then to train. And then I kind of came back because funnily enough, my first job I got was in Leicester by chance. So I guess, you've got your whole lifetime of experience of things that other people don't know about. And these are like the gems that you can talk to other people about. And to them, it will be very novel. But to you, this is something you've known about your whole life, I guess. And that's with every single place in the whole world, right?
You're so right. Yeah, I need to do that. Like explore more around my own city. So from all the trips, experiences that you lived or had, what's one experience or one moment that lives like rent free in your heart forever, that is more close in your heart, like for any reason? And also, what makes for you a trip or an experience one that is like memorable?
Okay, so I honestly don't think I can nail this down to one place, but I'll do a couple of places because I feel like each place is so different. I don't want to compartmentalize too much. So for me, what makes a trip memorable, I think it's it's definitely to do with the connection and the feelings that it evokes in me, and something that maybe I've had in the back of my head that I've wanted to do for a long time. So one of the most special feelings that I have had, well, one of a couple, has been when I went to Kerala and we stayed in a treehouse in Munnar with the tea plantations, and just me throwing open the balcony doors like at 5 a.m. and all I could see was like fields and fields of tea leaves everywhere and mist just rising from them. And right in the background, I could see like wild elephants just walking. And that was just like, wow. It was like I was, almost like frozen in time. Another experience was when I went to Namibia and I saw a family of black rhino. Now they were extinct at the time. So it was really special because it was like I went out with like a tracker and these are people who make sure, they're a team who make sure that there's no poaching because they have a lot of poaching of them, for their foods. So we basically went with them and they were just making sure they were okay. And there was no guaranteed sighting or anything that, we were miles away. Like they were like about that small. I had like a zoom lens. And I saw I thought maybe we won't see any or maybe one, but we saw a whole family. And honestly, it was like something that I will remember for the rest of my life. And it was like, I was so like overwhelmed that I was like, oh my goodness, I might cry. It's just like, wow. It's just like, yeah, truly, truly, truly amazing.
Goosebumps, yes.
Yeah, so I guess those were like two of my very special experiences. Do you see how they actually both feature wildlife as well?
Yeah, yeah. I
I just
love
think,
it.
I honestly think that seeing like wildlife in the wild, which is where they belong, is the most special thing ever in the world. So yeah, for me, it was very wow. It's like a wow moment, and I think those are the things that I just will not forget. Um, and always the people. I remember like certain relationships that I have with people when I am traveling, like I mean, like relationships as in with, like, say, if I've stayed with a family or I've gone to see a family, or if I've met somebody in a market who's introduced me to like lots of like homey things that they do naturally daily. And they're like, oh, this is a suggestion. Why don't you go here? Or why don't you go here? And those kinds of things are like really special. And you want to go back and say thank you to that person, but you can't always do that because you can't always find them again. So
Yeah.
kinds of personal like touches and moments are like the most memorable for me, more memorable than like going to a lot of sort of well-known sites and things like that. So yeah.
Sometimes it's the unexpected factor that makes something memorable, maybe, right? Like something that you were not expecting.
Yeah, I think so, because it's a surprise, isn't it? Because I guess we now, of course, I now travel with like not always knowing what to expect. Like if you go to a certain destination, which is popular, you kind of know what to look out for, don't you? Or what things to see in landscapes. But it was a bit like when I went to Tunisia. I just was not expecting to see a actually the world's third largest Colosseum in Tunisia. It's called El Gem. And I just wasn't, we kind of drove up in with the guide, and I was looking down because I'd lost some things. I was trying to find it in the car. And when I looked up, I thought, whoa, no, wait, pinch me. We're not in Rome, we're in Tunisia. It was just like, again, there was so many things like that, like the UNESCO sites I did not expect in that country. And I just thought, wow, it's just such a small world. You honestly, it's wow. Like, because I have been to the one in Rome, and I just thought this is so underrated, because number one, there's about 5 people here, and you can't even get into the one in Rome, can you? Because there's so many very cute, like, I don't know if you can still go in, but this one was 5 people. Just you purchase your ticket, walk straight in, and you can just stay there for 2 hours, 3 hours if you really want to, and it's just peace. Right. It's that feeling that it's so memorable that that you can't get back, and it's so precious, right?
It's amazing. And is there like a country or a place that really like blew your mind? Like say like, this was nothing like I was thinking about I was going to find here.
Yes, that country would. So there's 2 countries. One was Peru, and one was Namibia. So Peru, I went to a really long time ago now, 10 plus years ago. And I just was not expecting the warmth of the people. And even though we couldn't speak the same language, it was so, unfortunately, when I was in Cusco, I got really, really like sick with altitude sickness. And the people, it was so bad. The people were so nice, in helping me and just being very patient and just suggesting alternative places that I could go to and alternative things that I could do. And it just like blew me away. I just thought, wow, it's like I had no idea, but it's a very, very beautiful country. I love the Andes, and I just thought, oh, it's really unique. But again, if we were to talk about it today, it's quite it's a place where many people go now. But I just remember when I went, even when I went to Machu Picchu, there was not many people there. But now social media, TV, it's like a queue, right? So I remember these like late memories of places, and they were very different. But when it comes to Namibia, I'd actually wanted to go there for like, I don't know how many years. And we went like 3 years ago. Absolutely nothing like you've ever seen, like the landscape. So like 1 minute you can be in a desert, and the next minute you're driving on a road which looks like the moon, like the surface of the moon. It's like the landscape's incredible, honestly. I can't even begin to like talk about on our journeys, because what we did was we drove we did a self-drive, so we drove to different areas of the country, because that was the only kind of way that you could get to each sort of destination, unless obviously you did like a charter flight, which is really, really expensive. So we decided to hire like a 4-wheel drive and drive it. So it was just like we would be driving along for like 7 hours a day, or on some days, not every day, and you wouldn't see one person. Honestly, it was just like no one there at all. And every now and then you'd see the odd animal, like elephant walking along, or the odd like ostrich crossing the road, and it was just like, wow, pinch me, am I actually here? It was and I think again it was one of those places that I didn't know much about, and I guess it's not many people still like travel there because they don't know so much about it. I now know a few people that do through like social media, but when I went, obviously people were saying to me, why are you going to Namibia? And because I don't know anything about it, and I'd love to, and it sounds really like cool. Like a lot of people do safari on like the east side of Africa, but maybe not much on the western side. So that I think for me, Peru and Namibia are probably the two places.
I love it. I love it. That's amazing. That's so crazy. Do you have been like maybe a tradition, or you collect something, I don't know, when you go to each destination? In each destination?
I actually, that's interesting. I actually don't have anything specific that I collect, apart from memories, of course. But I do have something specific that I do at each place I go to, and that is take a cookery class. Because I'm vegetarian, some places it can be quite difficult to find vegetarian food, because sometimes I don't eat fish. Certain cultures think that fish is vegetarian. So what I try and do wherever I go is get some sort of insight on how they cook and what spices they use, or if they don't, some places don't use spices, but what their traditional food is, and whether you can make it vegetarian, because in some places it's just a lot of meat or seafood. So that is one thing I do. But I've just realized something. My husband does something very funny. He goes to every destination, and he takes photos of drain covers, like the sewage like covers that they have on the ground. He takes photos of those for each place he goes to, because it always has the name of the place on it. So he's got a big collection of that. What's really funny is I've started doing it. If I go by myself, I take it for him as well now. So it's really the only similar thing I do at every place. Or occasionally I tend to buy like a really small something crafty item, like maybe some sort of jewelry, like earrings or something. But apart from that, I don't actually. It's funny, isn't it? I tend to take away memories and photos, but I don't always like buy a specific thing or anything. Nothing like physical, as it were.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a vegetarian too. So we love coffee. We are vegetarians. We need to go on a trip together. Okay, so let's talk about Be-lavie, please. Tell us a bit about what is Be-lavie about, both the platform and the Instagram account. What do you share there?
Sure. So Be-lavie, I started about 8 years ago now. Did you want to know about the name? I remember you saying you wanted to know a bit about the name, didn't you? So Be-lavie. So Be is my name, shortened my name, and then la vie is like the life. So the life of Be, basically, in French. So because it sounds way more better, right?
That's beautiful. Yes. Very chic.
Yeah, so yes, it started 8 years ago, and I and the reason why I actually started is a very just a very casual reason is that my husband and I would go on many trips to, as I was saying, to just locations that we'd chosen, and just nothing without any sort of specific plan behind them, I guess. And so friends and family would be like, "Oh, B, how did you like that trip's amazing. I want to go on it." And then somebody suggested, or a few of my friends suggested, that I should make a blog and start documenting my trips so they could basically copy them. So I did it for like a whole year, and then I was like, okay, yes, let's do this. So I started writing, so like 8 years ago, you know, some of my trips and things like that. But then so like when it hit lockdown, I started to incorporate a lot of my sustainability and responsible travel, because, you know, there was a lot of talk about saving the world and things around that time, because we were in lockdown, we weren't going out, we were not traveling. So I kind of took the opportunity to start to talk about things that I felt passionate about, which I didn't always talk about back 8 years ago, because, you know, it just, I don't know why I didn't talk about it. I did occasionally, but not so much. So then on Instagram and my blog, I started to write about sustainable lifestyle hacks, like what you could do every day to be more green and to look after the planet when you're at home, and, you know, like alternative choices, and kind of like get the message across that none of us are perfect. It's never about being perfect, but it's about making small, tiny changes if possible, because altogether with those tiny changes we can have a huge impact. But also don't go all out. Like making bite-sized tiny changes are more consistent, and you're more likely to be able to keep up with, rather than, so like, you know, I knew people who decided that from tomorrow onwards I'm going to be vegan. Now that's like a big step, right, from being a meat eater to going being a carnivore and then going to vegan.
Yeah.
So, and they couldn't manage that because it was too much. So I think my message has always been, let's do small steps for the planet, and, you know, together we can make a huge, like, big difference. But with that sustainable lifestyle, I then started to talk more about delve deeper into how I travel sustainably, and the things I do, like I support local at home and away, and how I say would make a trip, like a responsible travel trip, like how I would choose things, and offer like advice like that on Instagram and on my website. So on my website, so on Instagram, I have like smaller sort of snippets of things like trips I've been to, and just I make a lot of reels and a lot of carousel posts for education. But on my website, I tend to have the big detailed guides on destinations and things like that. I have a lot of food reviews. I do a few product reviews. I do itineraries, which I've looked into every aspect. It's basically it's basically how I've done my trip for myself, offering the advice. And then I also have like an online community called the Be Collective, where people can get some resources if they want, and I send out a newsletter. So that's basically Be-lavie in a nutshell. Yeah,
it's beautiful. And what's the part of Be-lavie that you enjoy the most?
The holidaying part, I don't know, the traveling part.
No, good answer.
I like the traveling part. I quite like the photography. So my dad was a photographer, professional photographer, and he taught me a lot of tricks. Funnily enough, I just never really was into it that much, but since starting Be-lavie, I've really got into it a lot more, and I find it more fascinating. But I also actually quite like doing my newsletter and telling people what I've been doing that month. Actually, it depends. On different days, I enjoy different aspects of Be-lavie.
I love it.
8 years on, I'm still not bored, so it's good.
I love that. Just for fun, what are some passions that we have, like, besides traveling? traveling is at the top, I guess, but
Oh, yeah. So my passion. So actually, I feel like I'm quite boring, passion-wise, but I am very passionate about my home city. So I cover a lot of events in my home city. I do theatre reviews as well. Not many people know about that, but I do theatre reviews as well. I love going to different events. I love going to restaurants which are featuring a lot of vegetarian food. I especially love just like going to festivals. So if you were to ask me like, what's your perfect Saturday? Like it would be number one, getting up and coffee shop, going to a coffee shop, getting my book, reading it for about 2 hours, sipping on a nice coffee, then going for a little walk around town and seeing what's new. It's always got to do with outdoors, checking out the street art and whatever is going on in the area on that day. And then maybe treat myself to a bit of like brunch or lunch in one of my favorite cafes, which is basically all of them. So I have to rotate. I think aside from Be-lavie and traveling, I really do enjoy just the simple things in life, which is like really spending time with my family, my husband. We don't have any pets, but I want a dog. Just so that everybody knows, I want to have a dog. But I live in an apartment, so it's not really, I feel like it's not really the best place. But I love animals. So it's kind of just, to me, like, I guess my passions are just the most simple things in life. The most simple are the most like cherished things, right? Just spending time with people you're close to, doing things with the people you're close to, because that's what makes them special, right? And that kind of thing.
I love it. Yeah.
Good.
No, I think that while we grow up, we realize that actually it's about being present in the moment, right? Like that's the thing the most.
Yeah, I agree.
Like everyone, like I don't know, everyone who is watching, we want your advice, for your suggestions. You have traveled to so many places, so your suggestions for adventure and a place that you like for an adventure. So like a place or a country that you can have like unique experiences.
Okay, so I think top countries for adventure would be New Zealand, especially Queenstown, which is in the South Island, because you could do loads of like crazy activities there, and Costa Rica, because Costa Rica, you could do lots of activities, but it's also one of the most sustainable countries in the world. It's incredible. So they would be my top two for adventure.
Okay, I love it. Then, we are vegetarian, but what would be like the countries or cities that are like heaven for vegans and vegetarians, like have like local food or traditions around this food?
Okay, that's a tricky one, right? Because there are quite a lot. As a whole, Asia is very good with vegetarian food. So in particular, Kerala, very good. I think India as a whole is very good, but Kerala, I was blown away by Kerala food. That was like amazing. Thailand was fantastic, and so was Indonesia. But last year, I spent quite a bit of time in Chicago in the US, and honestly, I was so impressed with how many like vegan, vegetarian restaurants, vegetarian friendly restaurants they had, as well as standalone restaurants. And I had to make a guide of this for Be-lavie, because it was like I was really impressed. I just was, when you go to a destination and you just don't expect it. So like, I mean, in England we do have a lot of standalone like vegan restaurants. We're quite lucky like that. But I would say that out of the whole world, my best vegan veggie experiences have been in Asia mainly.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay, I haven't been there yet, but I really want to go to Asia. Then, a destination you'd recommend everyone need to experience at least once in life?
Oh, wow. That is a tricky one. I really want to say Namibia, because it's so different. It's really, if you like a little bit of adventure and you're happy to go out. So I also travel to be a little bit outside my comfort zone. If you're someone who likes a little bit of adventure, not too much, well, actually, you can vary your levels of adventure there. And you want to go a bit outside your comfort zone, I would say Namibia, purely for how different it is. And it's going to be one of those places that really stays with you, I think, for the rest of your life, because it is so different. I mean, the thing is, at the moment, or for the past few years, I'm having this battle with myself, which is, would I ever go? Because I've been to all continents except for Antarctica. Now, I've got an issue with that. I'm not sure I want to go to Antarctica, because I feel like, yes, for the scientists to find out about conservation is great, but I'm not sure I think I need to go there for that purpose. I feel like it should be maybe one place that is left untouched.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you, Vi, for this advice. And I have one more question. First, into the future, like goals, projects, dreams for this year or the future.
Yeah.
What's coming for Vi?
Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people do make goals and things like that. I'm someone who does not make goals. So when it came to January the 1st, I didn't make any goals. There are things that I would like to do, but I just tend not to put that pressure on myself, because in the past I found that I become, very fixated on these things, and then I'm not going anywhere, and then I get disappointed. But in terms of travel, yes, we haven't made any firm travel plans as yet, because we're kind of working on that. But maybe a couple of nice slow travel destinations, of which I can't think where we want to go. That's the main problem. I can't think where to go. And when it comes to Be-lavie, I am working on some resources for the site at the moment, which is taking me honestly ages, so that people can download or maybe purchase to help them travel a bit more responsibly. So that's what I'm working on. I think up until summertime on there. So yeah, my goals are basically just not goals, but what I envisage doing this year is pretty much more of the same, and a bit more consistently.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because this year, like, I'm a fan of doing all the rituals for New Year and like writing my goals for the year and that. But this year I said, like, you know what, no goals, because last year none of the goals I brought, I did nothing from that list, and I was like so frustrated. So like, you know what, I'll just let life surprise me this year. I'm open to just things to manifest themselves.
I love that. It's just like a no pressure way to live. So as long as as long as you're happy and you are moving forwards in the way that you want to, then there's no need to put the pressure on yourself.
Yeah. I think we are becoming wiser. Well,
with age and maturity comes
oh my gosh. Okay, David. Thank you so much, Vi, for this conversation. I loved it. I loved knowing more about your story and knowing more about the places you visited, and all the concept that you share with us in an easier way, that now I understand a bit more of those concepts. Just thank you so much. I'm going to share, of course, the link to your website, to your Instagram, so people can connect with you, maybe reach out and say, like, Vi, please, I need some advice for this. I want to travel here, and maybe they can just have a little chat with you.
Oh, thank you so much, Valeria, for putting all this together. It was a lovely chat.